Welcome back. I was just talking to Mike Epple over break, and I said happy Friday, and he said, well, not so much. I got a lot of work to do, and sorry for asking, my friend. Good morning.
I know. I just rant about things that just
like
affect
this.
me. It's one of these.
It's fine.
Well, again, Melanie, I'm telling you, Tuesdays are the best days of the week.
They're your day. They're not my day.
Great day to procrastinate and pile everything up to the back of the week, which is exactly what I do. And it's just a horrible habit. I know I'm my own worst enemy.
Okay, well,
How
you know
are you,
what?
by the way?
I am okay, but I know a lot of people are struggling right now, right? Because that's the thing. So everyone's now looking and saying, okay, it's Friday, but it's also Friday, May the 1st. Rent is due. Now what?
Yeah, you wonder how many people are having sleepless nights about this, considering the rent's due today, whether you're a business operator or you're living in a condo or what have you. Got to pay the bills, and there is this movement afoot to say no, we're not going to pay, and some businesses are saying don't have the money. As the money is filtering through from the various government programs, that is still just keeping the lights on in some cases. So, again, the ripple effects of this through the economy are extensive. Interesting report this morning by Realosophy Realty saying, all these Airbnbs, the short-term rentals, that market's dried up. So the owners of those are putting those into the rental pool for leases. So does that shift the dynamic of the market in the near term? A lot of listings, apparently. Problem is there's no one looking to move right now, and until maybe prices adjust, you could see a massive move here for pricing in the Toronto rental market specifically in very short order, because people maybe they'll take whatever they can get just to pay what they owe on the mortgages.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that all pans out. Let's talk about some earnings. Two big ones reporting today, Apple and Amazon, but taking very different approaches when it comes to, I guess, what they're doing corporately when it comes to COVID-19.
Right. Well, Amazon has faced some criticism internally from its workers that they weren't necessarily doing enough to protect staff, right? So Jeff Bezos in the company's statement last night on Amazon's earnings, they made $4 billion, but they're going to pump all of that back into the company. They're not going to be as streamlined, actually, internally at the distribution centers. They're going to spread people out. What does that mean? That means parcels won't necessarily move as quickly through the line to go to wherever they're being shipped to. So you could see actually a slowdown in deliveries, perhaps. They're talking about, in-house testing and all of these things to, again, make Amazon a safe place to work. And this has been sort of a pushback from a lot of workers in these big companies that are saying, hey, you got to do more to protect us from the virus. At the same time, Apple made $11.25 billion in profit in its first quarter. And its iPhone sales were down a little bit, not by much. Services way up. Everybody's streaming and doing all these other things on Apple systems. And Tim Cook, the CEO, says, we don't know right now where things are going. They're optimistic, later in the year. Right now, they're not giving any guidance. So they are, buying back some stock and doing some other things. They're down in the pre-market trade. Those stocks had rallied. Amazon hit a record yesterday. Just before its earnings today, they're down about 3% pre-market. So
we've only got time for one more topic, but I do want to ask you about this. We might be hearing about a new governor for Bank of Canada today.
Yeah, it could be Deputy Governor Carolyn Wilkins being promoted to the top job or an unnamed candidate. That is the report that's down to two, as Stephen Poloz, the long-term Bank of Canada governor, said he would not be renewing when his term comes due next month. So he's stepping aside in the middle of a pandemic. There was some question, do you extend him? Apparently that wasn't one of the options. So well, it's interesting to find out who Finance Minister Bill Morneau will announce, apparently later today. I mean, talk about a tough job to come into. So it's probably an internal candidate, we're thinking. But Stephen Poloz has been there through oil crises, all these other things that have gone on in the past number of years, and has been at the helm of the Bank of Canada during some very trying economic times, and certainly, most recently, the pandemic economic slowdown. Yeah, the C.D. Howe Institute, just want to mention this quickly, Melanie. C.D. Howe Institute has just declared Canada to be officially in a recession. We haven't seen that in the actual economic numbers, but that type of declaration, not a surprise considering what we've seen with the jobs market and certainly the shutdown of the economy so abruptly, middle of March and continuing right now.
Sadly, not a surprise, Mike. Thank you for your time today. I know you don't like the weekends, but you're here. So happy
No,
Friday.
I do like the weekends. It's getting to the weekends that are the problem.
Thanks, Mike. Take care.